Well, it has been a very rough month for the Canadian courts, as the Canadian government seems to be throwing reality out the window in support of so-called transgender rights. You guys may recall I put out this video less than a month ago. Court rules father cannot refer to 14-year-old daughter as a girl and must comply with transition. And then less than a month later, this story came out. Court orders Christian to pay $55,000 to trans politician for calling him biological male. Well, this is obviously getting worse and worse, but there is one small town in the United States that has a potentially groundbreaking, precedent-setting case that may start to turn these cases around. This, just out from PJ Media, Catholic schools' groundbreaking lawsuit could strike down LGBT laws across the nation. And joining me on the line today to help us break this one down is our good friend and East Coast correspondent, Lee Stewart. Lee, thanks for joining us here today. Let me pull it up on the screen here to get the article in question. You've seen some of my coverage over the last week, I'm sure. The Canadian courts have been doing things like this here. Court orders Christian to pay $55,000 to trans politician. We have this guy, the father who can't refer to his 14-year-old daughter as a girl, who must comply with its transition. Before we get into this one, what are your some of the thoughts on those videos that I covered over the last few days there?
Well, we're seeing the ramifications of Bill C-16 and now Bill 89 in Ontario that were put forth by the Kathleen Wynne government, that was designed by a registered sex offender. It was tabled or helped, written up by a registered sex offender. These things are getting out of control as we expected. Calling someone by the wrong pronoun. With infinite pronouns. I mean, where do you draw the line? We have yet to find out. And this is literally clown world we're in right now, where, flooding the courts with silly stories about, people who want to play dress up. And it's ludicrous that we actually have to have these conversations here in 2019.
Yeah.
When there's more important things going on, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, we've been warning for years that this is such a slippery slope and that it's going to lead to these types of things. We pointed out years ago that if a man wants to refer to himself as a woman, or vice versa, a woman wants to refer to himself as a man, then obviously when somebody else comes along and they say they want to refer to themselves as a cat or an attack helicopter, well, then that person's going to say, well, who am I to question them? When I ask for people to accept me, who am I to question them? I need to accept that reality because I ask for people to accept my reality. And what does that lead to? LGBTQ LMNOP plus 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 plus. It goes on to infinity, and it has led to the Canadian courts literally fining people for misgendering people and using the wrong pronouns. Well, now we have. Let me just go back to the right window. We have this from PJ Media. Catholic schools' groundbreaking lawsuit could strike down LGBT laws across the nation. Now check this out. On Wednesday, Alliance Defending Freedom, the ADF, will file a powerful, groundbreaking lawsuit against a local Ohio sexual orientation, gender identity, SOGI, non-discrimination law, that's a mouthful, that some say may become the most significant religious freedom case since the Masterpiece Cake Shop versus Colorado Civil Rights Commission in 2018. This lawsuit aims to protect a small Catholic school from stifling LGBT laws that cut to the heart of the religious education. Last year, the city of South Euclid passed a SOGI ordinance similar to the Equality Act in Congress and the Ohio Fairness Act currently in the state legislature. The Lyceum, a Catholic classical school in South Euclid, will sue the city on Wednesday, claiming the SOGI ordinance violates the First Amendment. The Lyceum is a small classical Catholic school established back in 2003, but unfortunately, in 2018, the city of South Euclid passed a law that threatens the Lyceum's very existence, ADF legal counsel Christina Holcomb said in a video in the case. And here's where it gets to the crux of the matter. Religious schools like the Lyceum must be free to operate consistently with their faith without fear of unjust government punishment. That is their right under the First Amendment, she said in the statement. But the city's ordinance threatens this small school with criminal penalties simply for selecting faculty and students who share its religious convictions. The Lyceum's parents, students, and faculty have agreed to live by community standards rooted in Catholic teaching. The city's hostile regulation not only threatens the school, it also undermines the rights of parents and students who deliberately seek out this unique faith-based education. So local activists suggest that the lawsuit could rise to the Supreme Court and take down the SOG laws expanding all across the nation. So this has potential to set a precedent in the United States and to turn the clocks back on so-called transgender rights to bring people back to reality, Lee. And it's not that we're being mean here. It's about sticking with the truth because the truth is important. So I guess first of all, what's your take on the Catholic school here in the United States actually using their religious right and their First Amendment to try to overturn some of the things that the courts are doing?
Well, yeah, this is what I'm talking about, the slippery slope, and you have also talked about, where do you draw the line? And the one thing I can suggest is it's 2019, and we're gonna have to start homeschooling our children if we want to implement certain ideologies, because we can no longer rely on schools to do it. I mean, this school is setting a precedent, but to be honest, if this was in Canada, this school would probably, be set to the, as an example of what not to do. And like I said, where do you draw the line when it comes to LGBT rights? I mean, they've been granted marriage, they've been granted, equal rights as far as I'm concerned. But when it comes to our children, that should be up to the parent. And yeah, the only thing you can do nowadays is to homeschool your kids. We can no longer rely on the government like we've seen here in Ontario. Doug Ford promised that he was going to take out specific gender studies from schools, and now he's done a complete 180. So, are the courts going to see this through? I mean, the United States does have their First Amendment. And it's going to be interesting. Definitely, we'll have to keep our eye on this one to see if it does set a precedent. Clown World, like I said, 2019. This is crazy.
Yeah, and I really want to keep my eye on this one, especially because some of the issues we have here in Canada under Bill C-16, Bill 89. Guys, if you're not familiar, Bill C-16 is the one that would criminalize you for misgendering someone. Using the incorrect pronoun. So if you say he or him when they want to be referred to as a her or a she, you could be essentially thrown in prison. Then there's Bill 89. This is the one that would allow child protection service agencies to take your child away from you if you refuse to refer to your child as the preferred gender pronoun that they want to be called by. And age doesn't even matter. You could have a little 4-year-old Sally who wants to be called Billy, and if you refuse, they could show up knocking on your door and take your kid away from you. So this is why this is a potentially precedent-setting case, because it needs to hopefully overturn all this kind of nonsense that we're seeing. Do you think, Lee, that it's possible to undo what Bill C-16 has done? But I mean, I guess it could be argued that Bill C-16 has already accomplished doing the damage in the minds of the masses. But is it possible that this could be a precedent-setting case in the United States, set a ripple effect around the world, and maybe the Canadian courts would start to rethink things like Bill C-16 and Bill 89?
I hope that there are still, judges that would uphold things like sanity and the fact that there are only two genders. I mean, I go to the doctor's office and, when you check, are you male or female? There's government documents. There's no infinite numbers of genders that you can tick off. I think it's just recently they've made it that on your birth certificate, you can now pick a different gender here in Canada. But yeah, I'd hope that there are still judges in the court system that see through this and would go against maybe what Bill C-16 has to offer or not offer. Do you know what I mean? Like this is where do you draw the line? Like I said, this is just something that I keep coming back to. It's infinite genders, and if you call someone a cat when they're a dog, I mean, where do you go?
Yeah, well, it goes to absolute insanity, to the point where Christians are being fined $55,000 for simply speaking the truth. I guess in closing, we'll wrap it up with this paragraph here, which I thought was interesting. It says, many non-Christians agree with Christians that biological sex is truer than gender identity. A man does not become a woman by declaring himself to be one, dressing up as one, or even getting hormones and surgery to look like one. God made them male and female, and genetics reveal that they are either XX or XY. SOG laws effectively outlaw dissent on LGBT issues, and the freedom of speech and the free exercise of religion are central to the First Amendment. This groundbreaking lawsuit may change the rules of the game on these important issues, cementing First Amendment freedoms beyond dispute. And I certainly really do hope that is the case. So this is something I wanted to bring to your attention today, ladies and gentlemen. Please click the thumbs up button and share this one. And of course, if you do appreciate our efforts here at Press for Truth, check us out at pressfortruth.ca/donate, where you can contribute a one-time donation or chip in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies or join as a member. But again, the best ways to support this show is just to click the thumbs up button and share the video with your friends and family. So anyways, that's all for today, guys. I want to thank you once for tuning in. Lee, I want to thank you again for joining us today to help break this down. Again, click the thumbs up button, guys. Share this video and stay tuned. We're going to have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.